It says +3 on my phone, and chance of late flurries. I can actually see little specks of snow coming down right now. Just the odd little flake. That's crazy for the end of the first week in May. Haven't seen that in a long time. Okay, here's what's going on today. Your Norton lover's probably gonna like this. I'm gonna put that regulator in there, fire it up, make sure it's running. I wouldn't get that done today. It's quick, simple, just do it, Bruce, do it, do it, do it. Got the exhaust on that one yesterday. And I got a text coming in. I gotta answer. Okay. Grand Hunter, she's gonna beat me back again in a minute, but let me finish this. So I got that bike all fired up and running yesterday. I didn't warm it up too much. I need a little bit more oil. The oil is at the add line, so I don't want to run it too long. I need another quart of oil. And you can see the bike was smoking all over, burning the dust off it, burning the paint off the headers and pipes and everything. And you know, you could smell the paint burning, but I could smell, once you smell it, you know the smell of like an armature burning. And it's like a burnt wire smell. And I wasn't sure if it was the burnt paint or all the dust burning off that bike. You know, I'm not sure. So after that video there yesterday, I thought, well, let me fire it up one more time. I put a meter on it, and yeah, and it's not putting out any voltage. So I want to check for the output on that alternator today, and I'm pretty sure it's the windings are burnt. Something's burnt. I hope it's not the windings in there. This is the kind of luck I'm gonna have. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I can't kill these bikes. I want to get them finished. Back to this one, the FXR. I just wiped it up. There was a big puddle of oil down here, and I'm tracing it underneath, and I'm saying, geez, I hope my jack didn't damage the cases, but they're heavy-duty cases. But look at the oil pressure gauge here. Oil just pissing out of there, and it's dripping and running down the engine cases. So I've got an oil leak there. I got to fix. I should just take, wow, it's nice to have the dummy light on. Let me get that out of the way there, but where's the best light? Yeah, you can see the oil all pissing out of that. That was bone dry before, so I don't know what the hell happened there. One other thing, I just put a note on my, I think it was my last FXR video, or the one before it. I goofed up. Sometimes I do stupid things. But this motor mount I got in upside down. The taper goes to the top, not to the bottom. And I also put it underneath the frame when it should sit on top of the frame. I did that because I had to crank that engine up so much to get it in there. It just didn't seem right because it made this bracket here like on an angle. But I'm going to replace that. I'm going to pull that off right now. It's the first thing I'm going to do is change that. It won't take too long. And then also, if you remember in that video, this bolt going through here is a 3/8 bolt in a 1/2 inch hole. And that's the way they come from Harley. That's the way the replacement kits come. Is my camera even pointing at the right freaking place here? It's supposed to be up here. Damn it. Okay. Okay, this is where I screwed up here. This rubber mount, it's kind of one side of the rubber is straight and the other side's got a taper, a wedge to it. The wedge goes on the top. The original ones are marked top, but mine was so torn up and broken that you couldn't see on that. So I got that upside down for one thing, and then also it should be on top of this frame, not below the frame. I did that because I had to jack the engine up so far to try to get it in here. It just didn't seem right. It seemed like that top plate there was on too much of an angle that way, and even still it's on an angle right now. So it just didn't seem like the right fit. Now I watched another guy in another video about this center bolt, and this is a 3/8 bolt and I think it's cranked to 34 foot-pounds. And the hole inside the rubber is 1/2 inch. And I'm sure that's for the adjustment and the alignment, getting it lined up. But what he did is he put a 1/2 inch bolt all the way through, a lot snugger, tighter, greased it up so there's movement. And then he also put a bigger washer on it. I'll show you when I flip this around, because you can see, you know, you look at the, well, it's going to be the same when I flip it over. Just look at the gap in here between that plate and the rubber mount. Now, even though it's upside down, it's not right, but when I do it the other way, it's going to be the exact same thing. There's going to be a gap right in here. So it means all that torsion, all that force is just on that bushing in the center of that rubber. So all the stress is right in one spot. The newer ones, the Harley Davidson newer ones, have a steel plate right across the whole top of vulcanized right into that rubber. And so it disperses the stress over the whole rubber. And I thought about doing that the other day, putting a bigger washer, because the, I can't know if you can see under there or not, but the bushing actually sticks out about 1/8 of an inch, and there's room to put a bigger washer around that to disperse the weight. So I think I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to put a 1/2 inch bolt in there, and see how that works. And then when this is a cheaper rubber mount, 20 bucks, something like that, you can get them from Drag Specialties. But when this goes out, there's a company called glidepro.com, and they make a neoprene one with a 1/2 inch bolt through the center of it. And I watched it, there's a good video on YouTube, I can't remember the guy's name, older guy, and he has this one in there, and he puts a glass of water on his brake lever, or the brake master cylinder, on the handlebars, and the water's just vibrating like hell in there. And then he puts that Glide Pro in there, and that water's hardly even moving. Like he drove the bike, and he swears by it. He sounds like an engineer, this guy. He sounds very knowledgeable on the bikes and how things work. So I'm going to eventually go that route. But meanwhile, I'm going to flip this over, put a bigger bolt in it, and I'm going to try to get a better washer on the top. Okay, that's the 3 things I want to get done today. It's snowing. I don't know if the camera can pick it up or not. Crazy. Trying to get it in the camera a little bit.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. See you later. Yeah, you can see it. A little bit of snow. Doing that today. Okay, this is how that front motor mount works. This is the top. Yeah, this one, see, this is not marked, this one, but the original ones are. And, whoops, this goes like this. I don't think they even had this in there right, but. This is how they had it. There, this is how it comes from the factory. Just to show you, so you can see, I'll put this washer in there just so you can see the difference. So everything, all the load is on this stud in the center, this bushing in the center. All the load of the bike is on that one bushing, and then it's pivoting. It's going up and down between the steel plate. It's just vibrating a little bit between that steel plate. That's how that thing works. So what the new Harley bushings are, or the new rubber mounts are, is they've got a solid, they made the top solid steel, and then flush with the top of that bushing. Now that whole bushing is working as a damper, not just the center part. So I'm going to put some spacers in there like that. The steel plate sits on top of there. That sits like that. And then if I put it again back like that, I still got that big spacer in the bottom. So I'm going to put some spacers in here. And so now all the dampening will be on the rubber. And that's the way the new neoprene ones are as well too. So all the load is on this, is going to be on this rubber going back and forth, not this center bolt. I'm sure it's going to be a lot stiffer. A lot stiffer than that. We'll try it. Here's what I'm talking about here. Here's the old one that I have, and here's the new one. They vulcanized a solid steel washer on the top here. So now the whole rubber is acting as a damper, not just the center portion. That's what tears it out. So I'm going to build mine up like that. Whoops, and that's going to be it. Now, where is it? X this out. There's the new neoprene one here. Let's see if they got a picture of it. Well, there's one there, but that's not it. Yeah, this one down here. Glide Pro. This company here, Glide Pro. This is the best one out there. It's $100. Front motor mounts, there it is there. $100, 1980 to 2008. Whoop, there it is there. It's got the two big flat steel washers that sit on top here. And this is a 1/2 inch, not 3/8 anymore. So all the dampening is done by the rubber, not the center bushing. And that's how that works. But this one, you only torque it to 8 foot-pounds. You just snug it up on either side so that the rubber can do the work. You don't want to compress that rubber before it's even started to work. So, yeah, I'm going to try to do that. And I don't know how long this one's going to last. I'm going to do, but if it doesn't last very long, then this is the road I'm going to go. This neoprene one here. Okay. Okay, like that. Now all the dampening is done by the rubber, not just by that center bushing. Maybe it's going to make it too stiff, I don't know, but let's try it. An old bike can't hurt. Okay, so that should go in like that. Yeah, see if I gotta get a piece of wire. Okay, I got it all buttoned up together. And the last bolt I tightened was, well, it was a regulator, but this bolt here, the main bolt, when you got a wrench on it up here, 11/16, I think this one's 13/16 on that 1/2 inch bolt I got in there. And you're, like, this bolt was nice and loose, and you're slugging it up with the ratchet, you know, you can feel it. You're taking out you feel the tension, the amount of tension, and as soon as it starts to bottom out, all of a sudden you can feel it get tight. It's going to get tight on you, and it's going to straighten everything all up. And then I just give it maybe not even a quarter of a turn more. Take the free play out of it. If I hear any sort of rattle when I'm running it or feel a vibration up there, maybe I'll snug it a little bit more. But if I loosen it off to the point where that bolt's loose in there, I'm sure I'll get a rattle. So, but you don't want to compress this rubber. Compress it very little. And let's see how that works. If not, then I'm going to go to that Glide Pro. But this rubber will work for a while. It's Drag Specialties $20 cheap rubber, probably made in China. And we'll see how long it lasts like that. Okay, I think I'm gonna change my last video when I did this. Carry the bike up, and I wipe this off. Keep an eye to see if it's leaking at the bottom here or the top, or it's cracked or what. But quite a bit of oil came out of there, so let's see which part's broken there. May 8th, 2020. You can see why I'm in no rush to get the Norton on the road. Still cold weather. Ridiculous. Just an update on the oil leak here. It wasn't this oil pressure gauge. I was sitting here and it was kind of wet around there. I'm watching it and watching it. And all of a sudden I see a drip, a drip from up here, drip, drip. So the O-ring on this push rod, I guess wasn't quite seated. I looked underneath, it looked good and everything, but so I popped this out, cleaned the O-ring, cleaned all the oil up in there, and actually put a little goop of gasket maker, Loctite gasket maker on that O-ring, pushed it all back up in there. So that should cure the oil leak for now. Okay, that's it for this bike for today. I got a feeling that's too rigid, that motor mount up there. You can feel the vibration right through the whole bike. It's like you're sitting on a great big cement vibrator. It's going to be too rigid. So I'm probably going to take off the bottom washer, leave the top one on, and that'll give it a little bit more free play. That's it for today on that one. The Norton's done. You got to check out that video. That's next.